Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is Series 7 Guru coming to you from my off-grid studio location with an explication request. You have an explication request, send it to explicationrequest@guruexamprep.com. So I think this is one of the more difficult or challenging questions you get on your Series 7, identifying a spread when it's missing premiums. And the way to do this is the mantra lower, higher, longer. Lower, higher, longer. Lower, higher, longer. Lower strike call contracts always have greater premiums. The reason that's important is because remember, the greater premium dominates. If you think about it, it makes sense, right? A choice to buy Apple at 230 is more desirable than a choice to buy Apple at 235. The 230 call will have the greater premium, whether you're buying it or selling it. If I'm selling it to you, I say, hey, 230 is more desirable. I want more money for it. Lower, higher, longer. Higher strike put contracts always have greater premiums. A choice to sell at a higher price is always more desirable, and it's going to have a greater premium. A choice to sell Apple at 230 is more desirable than a choice to sell at 225. So whether you're buying or selling, I'm selling it to you, I'm going to want more for it. Longer term option contracts always have greater premiums. So we're looking at a March and then we're looking at an August. The August will have a greater premium. So the mantra is lower, higher, longer. All right, let's look at this question here. It says long M&N April 30 put. So I have a choice to sell at 30. Short an MNP April 35 put. So I have an obligation to buy the stock at 35. We just said higher strike puts always have greater premiums. That's the one I'm selling. So I'm bringing in more than I'm paying out. Now, what's going on here is I'm saying, well, if I'm wrong and the stock is not 35 or higher and the contracts don't expire, at least if it goes south on me and somebody sticks it to me at 35, I can stick it to the next guy at 30. So now my maximum loss is going to be the difference in the strikes less this net credit, whatever it happens to be. So that's how we establish this as a credit spread. And then remember, the greater premium dominates the position. So an obligation to buy the stock is the dominant leg. Again, I don't know if it's helpful. I think the options as being about floors and ceilings. There's a ceiling at 35 or higher. Contracts expire. I get to keep the money, neener. And there's a floor at 30. I'd say again, somebody blows up. I'm going to, buy it at 35 and sell it at 30. I can see where this is challenging. The answer here is that this is a credit put spread because an obligation to buy the stock at the strike price is the greater premium. Short puts are ultimately bullish, right? So people sometimes think debit means bull and credit means bear, and that's not true. Here's an example where that is not necessarily true. This is a credit put spread, and it is bullish. They didn't ask you that, but that's the answer. It's a credit put spread and it's bullish. So I'll link, I think I have an entire video on credit put spreads that I'll link in the description. If not, I'll link all the bearish transactions that you are held accountable for on Series 7. And the bearish ones are the ones that tend to throw people for a loop. So the answer here is, well, it looks like the test taker here was right that it's bullish, but was wrong about this debit versus credit, right? Again, the mantra for answering missing premium questions is remember the mantra lower, higher, longer. Lower strike puts always have greater premiums, lower strike calls always have greater premiums. That means the lower strike call is always going to be dominant. That will determine the spread. The higher strike puts are always have greater premiums. That's the dominant leg. That will determine bullish or bearish. And longer term option contracts always have greater premiums. That would be what we'd use in a calendar spread, missing premiums. All right, well, remember, inch by inch, your Series 7 is a cinch. Yard by yard, your Series 7 is hard. And I'll see you for the next explication request.